Well, good evening. Welcome to IMCC. You're probably wondering what's going on, given our new confirmation. My name is Bill Detmer, and with this distinguished group up here, who I'll introduce in a minute, we're going to spend the evening, reflecting on Sangha. And if that's a word you don't know very well, we'll talk about what that is before we get into it. Before I do, I'd like to welcome anybody who's here for the first time tonight. Are there any newcomers? Welcome. It's wonderful to have you. Hope you enjoy the evening, and we're going to have a break at the end, and I hope we'll all get a chance to say hello. So a little bit about the evening, since it looks, as you can tell, a little bit different than what we usually do. Well, first of all, let me introduce folks. Laura DeVault, Anne-Marie Smith, Barb Maley, and Phil Schroet. And this team, these guys, IMCC All-Stars. They all sit on the IMCC board, but each of them kind of looks over a part of what we do, volunteer-wise. Phil is our treasurer, and that's a big job, as you can imagine. Laura is our senior retreat manager with Liz Reynolds. Just put on a wonderful retreat at Serenity Ridge. If you didn't go, it was amazing, and we'll be having another one March 21st. There we go. And Anne-Marie, she oversees a committee that's kind of coming back online, the Care Committee, where we're hoping to really reach out more to the community and each other in times of need. And Barb will have a chance to talk to you a little bit about that. And then Anne-Marie, and then Barb is overseeing our volunteer coordinator. And, as you know, organizations like this thrive because of people who are willing to step forward and do sometimes little and great things to volunteer. And she does a great job with that. So anyway, that's the team for tonight. A little bit about what we're going to do. A little bit different than most nights. We're going to do a short introduction, then have a 20-minute meditation led by Laura. And then we're going to have a number of short reflections on this topic of Sangha from folks here, and you'll be invited to participate if you'd like. So there'll be some interactive opportunity if you're game. All right? So let's talk about Sangha. This is the Sanskrit word that loosely translates as community. And it originally was used to talk about the monastic order that sprung up at the time of the Buddha. People who left the householder life, donned robes, and followed the Buddha around and then became his disciples, so to speak, and learned what he had to offer. Teach it to other people, and then the amazing thing, to propagate it, generation after generation in the oral tradition for 500 years before it was ever written down. That was pretty amazing. So that was what Sangha was that was the word, what it applied to. As things have come to the West, we like to change things. And the democratization of both Buddhism and culture, it's become much broader. It's really to be all of us who are on the path of awakening through these teachings. And so in that context, we're really talking about more than just the monastics. We're talking about things like our teachers, our benefactors, people who have worked in our behalf on the spiritual path. We're talking about our spiritual friends. And we're talking about institutions like IMCC who are here to support all of this. So Sangha is this much kind of larger, richer concept. So why does it matter? Well, the Buddha kind of phrased it. Well, his concept was, it was one of the three pillars, Sangha. The Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And the way I interpret that, the Buddha being the aspiration that all of us have a Buddha inside us. It's just a matter of finding it and practicing towards it. That awakening is possible for all of us. That's the Buddha part. The Dharma, that there's a path of practice that we learn here and are taught in many different ways, and we read and we practice, that helps us down that path. And then Sangha, the kind of enveloping component that is our support network, our teachers, our spiritual friends, our community, and organizations that support us. So the three jewels, we're going to talk about Sangha tonight. And we'll start with a meditation and then have some reflections and give you an opportunity to reflect and share yourselves.
So, welcome everybody. I'm Laura. Glad to see you all. Taking a comfortable posture that provides some relaxation as well as some alertness. Please come in and find yourself a comfortable seat. We're just beginning. Welcome. So tall, dignified, relaxed, and comfortable. There's a place for you in that range of adjectives. Beginning by simply welcoming yourself, as in welcoming this body, right here, right now, into this seat or this cushion, coming home. Sensing your feet on the floor, your bottom in the chair or the cushion. The gravity that helps us to ground to the earth. Taking up space. And equal to that is the pull from above, feeling the crown of the head, drawing the spine upwards. And beginning at the crown of the head, inviting some relaxation, letting the skin of the scalp soften and release. Bringing some softness to the forehead. Allowing those tiny muscles of the eyes to soften and release. And inviting a little smile behind the eyes. Inviting that relaxation to cascade through the face, the cheeks, the jaw, the mouth. Inviting a Mona Lisa smile to the mouth. Allowing that kindness to move down through the body, shoulders, chest and back, freeing the neck, You might even invite a little sway or a wobble to find that place of perfect balance and greatest ease. Softening through the belly. Perhaps the next breath can be received into a softening belly. Sensing the pelvis on the cushion, this pelvic bowl that holds us. And then relaxing and yet grounding through the legs and the feet. Inviting that ease to the arms and hands. Hands which are often so busy and now can rest. Even in this very short body scan, it may be that some habitually tense muscles have tensed up again. So I invite you to do your own mini scan and see if there's anything else that you can let go of. And we're here tonight to contemplate Sangha. I invite you to call to mind a benefactor, someone who, alive or dead, someone you know or don't know, maybe never met, but someone who you always knew had your best interest at heart. Someone who provided help or guidance, support. Might be your first grade teacher. Might be your grandma. Might be the dog you got when you were 12. Bring that being's face to mind. And more importantly, bring that being's face and beingness to heart. What do you notice? Where do you feel it? And we'll spend some minutes here with this one. So take your time, explore that relationship. Explore the feelings and sensations that arise. It's okay that the mind wanders. It's what it does. The lungs breathe, the heart beats, the mind thinks. We wouldn't have it any other way. When you notice you've been gone a while, just come back. You're back. Relax. All is well. And when you're ready, coming back to that object of our meditation, which for this moment is the benefactor. As you're ready, releasing this benefactor from your attention and calling to mind a teacher or teachers that have been meaningful in your spiritual growth and development. Again, it may be someone you haven't met. Or maybe it's one of our guiding teachers here. Or maybe it's a teacher from another tradition, from your youth, your childhood. Whoever they may be, drawing that image close. Being with that teacher or those teachers for the next few minutes. There may be words you want to say in this silent conversation, or words that are offered. And now releasing this being and calling to mind your spiritual friends. Some of us belong to a KM group or two. Those are certainly spiritual friends. Some of us attend this Tuesday evening regularly. These are spiritual friends. For others, it may be those people that you have conversations with, those deep, meaningful conversations with, that help support your spiritual life, your spiritual health and well-being. Bringing those beings to mind, bringing those beings to heart. What's that like? And now bringing all of these beings together again. Picturing yourself in that circle within this circle of our Sangha here tonight, and offering some well wishes to all. May all beings be well. May all beings enjoy happiness and the roots of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the roots of suffering. May all be healthy and strong. May all beings live with ease. May all beings, in all ways, be free.
Thank you, Laura. In the next few minutes, we'll have each of us have a few moments of reflection, and you'll be invited to participate. And then after that, we'll hope you'll stay and celebrate this Sangha tonight over tea and cookies. So I've been obviously thinking about this for the last week or so, and it was wonderful to put it together with your meditation tonight. And I'll just offer a few reflections, and certainly, feel free to think of what's true for you. The first is going back to this concept of the original Sangha, of the monastics who gave up their householder life to follow the Buddha's word, and the fact that that has been perpetuated, propagated to the present. That is amazing to me. When you think of how could something in human history, make it 2,500 years through 500 years of oral tradition and survive today in the powerful package that it is? That's, to me, just shows how powerful this message is. So that's sort of one reflection that I have. When I think about Sangha in the larger context, which I love because I do think of what Sangha is in the Three Jewels, it's the cradle in which we, learn the Dharma and aspire to be the Buddha. I think about those things that Laura helped us through, benefactors. I had an 8th grade teacher who was a minister and an 8th grade science teacher. And for whatever reason, he saw in me, that spiritual curiosity. It wasn't about Christianity per se. He just saw that curiosity I had towards, the spiritual world, and he nurtured it by just being willing to sit and talk with me. And his face came to mind tonight, and it hasn't for a while. When I think about teachers, I think particularly about IMCC context. First thing is IMCC. IMCC was founded by Sharon Beckman Brindley, Pat Coffey, and Susan Stone. I don't think any of them are here tonight, but they're all actively still participating and leading the organization. But they came here to this room and put out some chairs and started teaching 20 years ago. That's amazing to me. What generosity of spirit, but also what power of message, something so powerful that it inspired them to come and offer it to people. And here we are because of them. When I think of other teachers who guide the Sangha today, I'm lucky because I get to hang out with a group of teachers, the Guiding Teachers Council that gets together every 5 weeks to set sort of the curriculum and the program for the Sangha. And I get to see, as I say, how the sausage is made. And it's pretty amazing. We come and enjoy these programs, but there's a lot of deep thought going into, how should we organize, what should we be, what are the needs of the community in this day and time? What are the themes that connect us? And putting together retreats and day-longs and new practice groups, et cetera, et cetera. So this group, we just have so much gratitude for what they are doing to support me and us. And then I think about spiritual friends. I would add to the group that we were thinking about tonight, or express it maybe a little bit different way, but similar, old dear friends, those people who you can get together with. You haven't seen them in 10, 20, 30 years, but when you do, you just fall in to a place of comfort. And we recently, my wife Angel and I, had our 30th anniversary, and we invited 3 couples who were at our original event to come spend a week with us, which we thought, well, I hope this is going to work out well. And indeed, not only was it a blast, but we actually fell into those conversations, those deep conversations about the, sort of the meaning of life. And they weren't necessarily following this path, but they were, fellow travelers on a spiritual path. So that, there's those. And then you mentioned the KM groups. If you're not in one here at IMCC, Cecilia is our wonderful coordinator of that. Consider it, because we happen to be, Angel and I, in a group called the Buddhist Book Club. We abbreviated the BBC, and we're reading a book every 6 months, very slowly, and really just get together every 2 weeks and talk about it's really the Dharma and how it's affecting our life and our practice. And the mindfulness of race groups have equal and different power. So I really encourage you to participate if you're not. And so the last part, just IMCC. I am so grateful for IMCC. When you think, what's an organization? An organization is just the people. It's just people, right? People who take the time, like the teachers, like Judy, who is here tonight. Where is she? Who helps make it all happen. To the leaders of our.
Yes. So tonight we've been talking about one of the triple treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, the kind of the last of the 3. And I was just reflecting on what a beautiful thing it is that our teachers, our spiritual friends, each other, to look out at the room, around the room, and think of each other as precious, living, breathing treasures, and to see that in each other, it's a beautiful thing. And Barb and I wanted to invite you to participate in just a brief activity with us that may put you just slightly out of your comfort zone, or maybe not. Perhaps, we'll see. And I thought it might just be helpful to give you an idea of where we're going before we do that. So we're going to leave you very briefly in a reflection, and then pass out some paper and pens and ask you to write something down on a piece of paper. And then we'll pass a basket back around and ask you to put what you wrote in the basket. And then we'll repass the basket, and you'll take what someone else wrote down, and we'll share it out loud and have a chance to share. So if what you wrote down on your paper is so precious to you that you would like a copy of it also, just simply write it down twice. And that way you'll have one for you and one to share. That's where I would invite you for a moment simply to close your eyes. And imagine a time back when you came to IMCC. maybe for the first time. Maybe it was for a class. And think for a moment about what was happening in your life at that moment in time. What drew you here to IMCC or to meditation in general, to taking a class? And think for a moment now, over whatever period of time you've been practicing here with all of us, whether that be today as your first time, or a year, or years. And think for a moment what that experience has been like for you. Why do you keep coming back? What is it that draws you here, to this place, to these teachings, to these people? What have you gotten from IMCC? What benefit? Could be something tangible or something intangible. A particular teaching, a friend, a night away from your children maybe. Anything. Just sit with that for a moment. Notice where it resonates in your body. And then in a moment, we're going to pass around a basket and some pens and some paper. And if you're willing, invite you to share that thing, that treasure you've gotten from the treasure of Sangha.
I first came to IMCC as a last-ditch effort to find relief for chronic migraines. I thought meditation would help. It did a little. I no longer have migraines. I'm still meditating.
Yay.
I'm David, and I'm helpless without reading glasses, which I left in the car. Thank you. It is really. I had been searching for a place I would feel spiritually comfortable, a place that values questioning as much as pat answers. I feel very at home here. It feels like my tribe. Thank you. Tujeje in Tibet.
Inner peace and gratitude. Oh, Mimi.
I'm Mark, and honesty, warmth, and kindness.
I'm Scott. Collective wisdom, connection with my true nature, my beloved spiritual friends.
I'm Angela. Connection with other people who practice this path.
Liz, being present, peace of mind, equanimity, and tools for bringing those about. Support for my practice, compassion for myself and others.
I'm Teresa. So much benefit, healing, being held in concrete ways through challenging times, so many friends, opportunities for leadership, the feeling of being seen and cherished, insight and encouragement to practice and begin again.
I'm Sue, and a sacred place and time each week to hear the teachings of the Buddha, no judgment, I'm not sure what this word is, I thought I had it. No striving, no cost.
Linda, a community that values and accepts me
as an imperfect and evolving being.
Valerie, touching base with our common humanity, what exists under the surface characteristics we present to the world.
I'm Mimi, a desire to practice more. Linda, a sense of peace that comes from silently meditating. It's kind of hard to read. Among friends in meditation.
Betty, a key value for me is to practice coming back to my true self.
Cecilia, it is nourishing to me to be together with others who are on this path. The challenges are easier when I am not feeling so alone with them.
Jim, it's not always clear, this being, moving, opening the heart in this distracting, clamorous world. Coming here to get hints or glimpses of clarity that didn't necessarily come in churches, though sometimes. I was always moved to come back, and now I can't not. Thankful.
I am Julie. The Sangha treasure of deep, caring relationships, supporting curiosity, awareness, awakening, compassion, and kindness.
Bobby, structure and consistency in my practice.
I'm Laura. The Dharma talks and the shared sense of spiritual searching. I've known one of the teachers here for almost 30 years, and her wisdom and kindness has been particularly... Several words follow. Something. But many folks here... Many folks here are lazily working. Don't think... Particularly, but many folks here have others, perhaps.
I'm Linda. This was a difficult thing to put into words. I'm new to this Sangha, but I was aware of the meditation's joyful energy.
Hi, I'm Christina. A pause before acting. It has been life-saving.
I'm Nin. Belonging.
I'm one of at least 4 Jims here. Knowing I am not alone in seeking to stop unnecessary suffering and find peace and equanimity.
I'm Angel. A sense of home, deep sense of belonging, ground beneath my feet.
I'm Liz. It is comforting to come to a place of calm, where I know I will see familiar faces and learn something useful, like how not to shoot myself with the second arrow.
I'm Ira. A place where people take spiritual issues seriously.
I'm Steve. Interconnectedness of all people and things.
I'm Christine. It is such a blessing to know that there is always a group of kind people I can be with. The teachings are leading me on a wonderful path, and it's the Sangha that helps inspire and motivate me.
Another Jim. It's actually one word, but it's very powerful. Connection.
I'm Carolyn. IMCC is helping me decompose, to take apart the structure of my taught belief system and allow me to once again be a learner.
Hi, Bill. Comfort, there is still some compassion and sanity.
I'm Phil. 4 months ago, I moved to Charlottesville, and IMCC was recommended to help me find my faith.
I'm Judy. Dharma talks from great teachers.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? My heart is just, that was incredible. So many themes of connection, belonging, true nature, peace, connection, compassion, supporting practice. So I was thinking as people were sharing that there's so few places in our culture anymore to have a sense of, to really feel a sense of belonging, which is a basic human need. And so I'm just delighted, and I would love to hear more. This is the part where if you don't want to share, you certainly don't have to, but if you want to say anything about it, just adding to what you heard, or just how moving that was. Thoughts, comments, anything.
I'm told that the Buddhist practice is kept alive by monastics, but somehow this seems to be working.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, it's amazing.
Hi, tonight when I was sitting here, I thought back of the years when Pat Coffey would be sitting here, and there might be 2 or 3 or 4 people. He would be here every Tuesday evening, and because that was before he had other teachers too. So, but he was here every week, or he had somebody else here, and and I remember coming out of curiosity, maybe, and it was just so comfortable and warm, and he was always in that a very steady pace of being thoughtful, caring, and I guess he was very encouraging also. So anyway.
Thank you. That's great. You must have seen a lot of transition.
The woman who said she came because of the migraines, so to help with that. I don't have migraines, but I just never have been able to really relax. I just can't relax unless I'm in the hot tub or something after I swim. That I just start yawning. But that's it. I'm just not a relaxer. And my friend told me about the group and about meditation. She's from Canada, and she used to come, Raquel. And I thought, well, I'll try it. And I came here, and I sat. I didn't know what to do. People just were kind of, not staring because their eyes are closed, but just sitting quietly like zombies. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm uncomfortable. I'm in the wrong place. But I went ahead and came a couple times, and then I took the course with Jackie and David, I think, that 6 weeks thing. And then I started kind of practicing at home. And yeah, so that's one reason so I could relax. And now I just almost fall asleep. And I know that's not the purpose, but if I'm tired, it's okay. So for the first time in my life, I can And at home, when I do it myself, the mind kind of goes, you know that. But I can actually, I get to a place where I relax. And I don't always go to sleep, even though the mind is going. And that's just amazing. And then I stop doing, because I'm always doing. So that's amazing too, to just stop doing, even though you can say breathing and meditating is doing, but not, really. Well, I guess you could make a case for it. But and the other thing is the being present. As I've gotten older, every now and then I used to think, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know, I think, okay, my children are raised and my career is, well, I'm still working part-time, but, and I look back at the calendar for the previous year and all the things I did, and, where did that time go? Where did that time go? And then the other thing, so my friend had said about meditating, and that I read the John Kabat-Zinn book. That's what started it. That's wherever you go, there you are. And I realized that, I just would really, I can't stop time, and I'm thankful to be alive, but I really want, as much as possible, to just be present to my life and not just, be so busy trying to get to the next thing and accomplish this and that, and then look back at the calendar and wonder where it went, and not really know who I am or what I want, or, and being on automatic, all of that. And still I go into my rat race occasionally, but at least I can pause now and then, and there's such support here. This is just fabulous. I really appreciate this group. And one of the things I really do get from you all is people said it here tonight, the kindness and the compassion and no judgment. It's like, of course I'm prone to judge, myself particularly and others, and we all are, we're human beings, but the fact that in the teachings, there's that in there, and you just hear it repeated, and it's just a wonderful, unusual thing. And so thank you all for being part of the group.
Thank you, Linda.
So I was reflecting on how what this has meant for me has changed over time. So when I first started coming, it was very much about, I found that I was much more disciplined to practice at home steadily. If I came here once a week, if I dropped off coming here, I just, we weren't as good at doing it at home either. But then over time, we really needed to study Buddhism a little bit outside in order to catch on to what was coming out in the Dharma talks. And we did that, and so then that fed in much more. But then just over the years, getting to know all of you, the people in our KM group, and others, it's all become very, very meaningful for that as well. So all those things coming together. Thank you all.
Thanks, Angel. Thank you so much for your kind words and thoughts.
So most of you are familiar with Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk who was forced into exile from Vietnam because he refused to take sides in the Vietnam War. And he's still alive, spent about 50 years in France, and he's devoted his life to explaining Buddhism to the West, to Westerners, and adapting it where needed and bringing the timeless truths as they're needed. And so I read some of what he had to say on Sangha, and Thich Nhat Hanh writes a lot, so he had about a dozen different metaphors. But the one that stuck in my head is he used the example of a sapling, a small tree. And if that sapling is just sitting in the middle of a field, as long as the weather is good, it's fine. It's sitting there absorbing the sunlight, having a good time. But when bad weather comes along, a sapling by itself is going to get blown over. But take a large number of those same saplings and put them together in a grove, and that same storm, at the end of the storm, they'll all be standing, both the ones on the edge of the grove and the ones in the middle. And he said, this is what a Sangha is about, is that we can do this on our own. We can sit on the cushion or whatever and meditate. But when hard times hit, we need some support. And what a Sangha does is we support each other. And we heard a lot of that as we went around the room. I mean, there's many benefits, but that mutual support is what we're here for. Now, just very briefly, a little word on finances, as I'm treasurer. Number one, as we've mentioned a couple of times, we now have our finances are on the web. Just as in our tradition, there are no secret teachings, there's also no secret pots of money or secret budgets. It's all out there. And just the basics are, we spend about $55,000 a year keeping this operation running. That does not count the retreats. The retreats are more or less self-supporting. They actually make a little money right now. But it's basically $55,000 a year. And what we basically look like, I've actually done some research on this, unsurprisingly, we look like a small church. And the only difference is we don't have a building. But other than that, we have some part-time professional staff. We pay our teachers, not a lot, but we do pay them some. And then we've got all sorts of other things, like the website and various events we support and so forth. So again, basic operation is $55,000 a year, which means a little over $1,000 a week is what it costs to run this. We have something around, it's kind of hard to, we don't have formal membership, but we have something like 70 people involved. And again, these are just averages. I know that some people can afford more than others, but that works out to about $750 a year. So, that's, again, it's an average, but that's basically what it costs to run. We have kind of an informal pledge drive we're doing right now, but, we will accept your pledges at any point. And we've done quite well. We don't have to do a lot of badgering people to give money. We're not public radio. But we do still need that amount, again, about $1,000 a week. So whether you want to give that in a big chunk or give it week by week or quarterly or whatever. The one other thing I have been reminding people is we have not gotten any bequests. No, nobody's remembered us in their will yet, but we would really be very grateful. And I think that's something that a lot of small churches really do depend a lot. So depending again on your situation, if you would feel so moved as to include us in your estate planning, that would be absolutely great. We also now have the ability to accept stock if you would like to get rid of those, 2,000 shares of Facebook that you bought, 15 years ago or whatever. So that's it on the money. It's we're again, if you want the details, the entire budget is on the web, and you should feel free to look at it. And if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to talk to people. Of what? Yeah, we got lots of ways to make donations. Okay, we take cash, we take checks, we take PayPal. We can take credit cards through Square. Give us a little bit of note, but we've got ways of doing that. And as I say, we now have a. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's if it is of monetary value, we have a way of transferring it to us. Oh, we don't take cars, and we don't take boats, and we don't take motorcycles. But other than that. Yeah, we are tax exempt. The IRS considers us a church. They also consider synagogues and mosques to be churches, so it's not that churchy. But yeah, we are completely legal. And again, we've got volunteers. We're obviously not going to provide financial advice, but we do have people that help us out if you've got complicated situations to at least look at it from our side.
Well, thank you everyone for coming, for opening your hearts and sharing what you did. And let's spend some time celebrating what we have. Stay with us for a few minutes and have some tea and cookies.